Hey friends, today I'm going through everything about Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party and how to prioritize the fireworks, parade, castle show, character meet and greets, party exclusive menu items, attraction overlays, dance parties, trick-or-treating, Genie Plus and DAS rules, tips on navigating with kids, and our park strategy, how it actually went, and how to plan your night because you do need a strategy. And I'll leave you with some bonus tips for taking kids to Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party. Let's jump in. Hey, I'm Nicole. I'm sharing all things doing Disney with kids. I'm sharing wins and lessons learned, so keep watching for all my best Disney with kids tips. Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party is a popular Halloween-themed event held at Disney World's Magic Kingdom. It offers special entertainment, fireworks, parade, food, and so much more. So the party takes place on select nights from August 11th through November 1st. Tickets can be purchased in advance, but they tend to sell out, and 2023 dates have already started selling out. Prices of the event vary based on the date and whether you are purchasing an adult or a child ticket. Adult tickets can run from $119 all the way up to $199. A child's ticket can run from $109 to $189. Annual pass holders and DVC members can get a $10 discount. Okay, so let's talk about the event details real quick. The main party event runs from 7 p.m. all the way until the wee hours of midnight, but party ticket holders can enter Magic Kingdom as early as 4 p.m. on their ticketed party day. A regular park ticket is not needed if you're entering after 4 p.m. on that party day. Once you enter, you will receive a fabric wristband to designate that you have a purchased party ticket. So there are some attractions and rides that have Halloween themed overlays that are exclusive to the party, as well as entertainment including parades, shows, character meet and greets that are not normally available during non-party times. And of course, what would a Halloween party be without trick-or-treating? You're gonna find different trick-or-treating stations throughout the park starting at 7 p.m. You can get a trick-or-treat bag as you enter the park, and that's gonna be where your first candy station's at. So in order to get your wristband, you're going to need to either enter the park from the very front and they'll be greeting you as you enter, giving you a wristband, but if you happen to be in Magic Kingdom already during the day, you can head over to Tortuga Tavern, Fantasy Fair, or Tomorrowland across from Monsters Inc. Cloud 4 to receive your wristband there. If you do not have a wristband, you will be asked to leave by 6 p.m., which is when the park closes for non-party guests. They are very strict on checking this and have a very strategic sweep that they do throughout the park to make sure that only ticketed guests are remaining at this event. And being a Halloween party, of course, you can come dressed up in your favorite costumes, and this is where the adults can really finally hop on really dressing up at Disney World. There are a few rules with your costumes. So costumes must be family friendly with no crazy weapons or outlandish themes. Guests 13 and older cannot wear a mask, and it's probably too hot for that anyways. If you choose to wear a dress, your dress cannot touch the ground. This is primarily for safety reasons, but you also don't want to be mistaken as a character. It will be hot, so when you're planning your costume, do keep that in mind and limit those long sleeve costumes as well as bulky ones. You want to be able to move around and let your body breathe because it will still be quite hot out in Magic Kingdom. We chose this year to dress up with the theme of Alice in Wonderland, the traditional movie. I was Alice, my husband was the Mad Hatter, the kiddos were Tweedledee and Tweedledum, and then we also had grandparents with us that were the Queen of Hearts and the White Rabbit. For us, these costumes were quite cool. I think my costume was probably one of the warmest because I had a little bit of a longer dress, but I wore biker shorts underneath, so it wasn't a big deal. My husband's costume and the Queen of Hearts and the White Rabbit were very customizable as far as wearing something cool and then just adding those accessories of the costume. My kids' costumes were also really perfect for the warmer weather. My son's, I did switch out the pants that came with the costume for shorts, and other than that, they worked out great. I'll put a link to the costumes and all the Disney costumes from HalloweenCostumes.com down below. They have a ton of great options, and just like ours, a lot of them are modifiable for the Orlando weather, and then you can just wear the normal costume during your Halloween time at home. I do suggest if you're wearing costumes, at least for the kiddos, to bring a change of clothes. You never know if a costume might end up being too itchy or just a little bit too warm. Okay, so let's jump into everything that's offered during the party and also how you should prioritize things. So I'm going to be going through and I'm going to be listing things out in the way that you should prioritize them when you are planning your time at Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party. So we're going to start with the first thing that should be on your priority list and go all the way down. So the first thing is going to be the fireworks show. The fireworks show are only offered one time during the night, so you only have one chance to actually catch them. This is going to be at 10:15 p.m. If you plan to watch fireworks, it is very important that you build your night around this time. So there's a few different options as far as viewing locations for the fireworks. You can watch from the front of the castle, which is going to be the most popular option amongst majority of the crowd. In the front of the castle, you're going to see projections and then also a special guest on stage. You could also watch from the front of the park, still being able to see a little bit of the projections, just not so clearly, and then you'll get a full view of the fireworks. If you plan to leave right after fireworks, I do suggest staying at the front of the park or just right outside so you can make a quick exit, as many people will be doing that as well. If you're looking for a spot that has a little bit less crowds, consider going over to the Liberty Square or the Frontierland area. This is usually less crowded during normal fireworks, and the Halloween party isn't much of an exception for that. The Frontierland Bridge is one of my favorites, but do note that you're not going to be able to see the castle projections from this area. For this Halloween party, we decided to go back behind the castle and we got an all-encompassing experience of fireworks all around us. As you can see, this was not crowded in any way, and it was honestly one of the best firework experiences because I literally was just looking left, right, all around. It was so all-encompassing, and I liked being able to just turn and see different fireworks and whatnot. But if you want to get one whole view of everything and see castle projections, this is not the spot for you. I did really enjoy it, and I definitely plan to watch other fireworks shows from this location as well. Other options for watching fireworks, if you have a little bit extra money to spend, they do still offer the fireworks dessert party. Of course, for an extra paid amount, you can choose from two different dessert parties. One is going to have a reserved viewing area, and another is going to be a reserved seating area. I've done the fireworks dessert party during regular fireworks times, and while having the reserved viewing area was nice, I'm not sure that I would necessarily splurge on top of the already ticketed event to go ahead and view this. I think the amount of time that you have to arrive to do the dessert party and then also still get to the reserved seating area is just going to eat up too much of the party time, and really you're going to have to base a lot of your chunk of your party time during that. So we didn't opt for it, and I probably will not opt for it in the future, but it is an option if you want to have that peace of mind knowing that you have a saved spot for the fireworks. So when you're thinking about planning out your fireworks, you want to consider, will the kids even be awake? And if they're not awake, will the fireworks wake them up? Our kids actually slept through the fireworks, no sound machine. They slept the entire time, and we were right in the middle of all of the action. But you know your kids best, so make your judgment based on that. Another thing to think about is, will you plan on leaving right after the fireworks? That will really heavily determine your viewing location. Again, if you want to leave after fireworks, I would go and view them from the front of the park. Main Street is going to be flooded with people leaving right after the fireworks because at this point they have likely seen the castle show, the parade, and now the fireworks, and they're ready to go back. It's probably late, almost 11 o'clock at this point, so expect heavy crowds exiting at the end of the fireworks. Being at the back of the park, crowds were very light as no one was really back there, so we didn't have to manage any crowds at all. If you choose to skip fireworks altogether, this is a great time to go jump in those character meet and greet lines, as well as riding any attractions with overlays. Next up on your priority list should be the parade, choosing whether or not you're going to watch the parade. So you're going to have two options for when you can watch the parade. Being held twice, one is going to be at 9:15 and the other is going to be at 11:15. So the parade is kicked off with the Headless Horseman riding down, letting everyone know the parade's about to begin. A new addition in 2023 is Daisy, Clarabelle, and Minnie all appearing as the Sanderson sisters from Hocus Pocus, and they are totally adorable. Loved that addition. Another addition to 2023 is going to be Max dressed up as Powerline Max. He's going to be dancing with his 90s friends over on Main Street, and this is also going to be right before the parade. Usually guests can get up and dance and the kiddos can like get their wiggles out before the parade starts, and then you'll have a few more minutes before that parade actually starts. So he is only going to be able to be seen at that Main Street and Town Square area. So if you're really wanting to see him, you're going to need to make sure that you find a spot in that area. So with the parade, it's going to start over in Frontierland, right next to Tiana's Bayou Adventure, and then it's going to wrap its way all the way down in front of the castle, down Main Street, wrap around that Town Square area. So if you're at the end of the parade, you can expect to be waiting there much longer after the parade actually starts. The parade will usually hit Main Street, the Castle Hub area, around 15 minutes later, and then more towards the end of the parade route, it's going to be a little bit closer to 20-30 minutes possibly. So definitely keep that in mind when planning. If you're going to want castle views during the parade, you're going to want to be a little bit closer to the hub and realize you'll need to line up at least 45 minutes, more closer to an hour or more, considering that most people will line up for the castle show, stay in that spot for the parade, and then stake out for the fireworks. My favorite spot to watch the parade and any parade is over in Frontierland. This is right across from Pecos Bills. I find that character interaction is at its peak over in that area, and the characters are nice and fresh, tons of energy because the parade route just started. You could always catch the second parade, which is typically a little less crowded. However, if it is a rainy night and you skip the first parade waiting for the second one, they might end up doing the rainy day parade, which is a very scaled back version of the regular parade. So when I'm looking for my spot for the parade, I wheel the stroller up, leaving some elbow room for me and my husband to stand. Do know that Main Street gets very crowded and you will not be able to cross during the parade, and it'll be really difficult to make your way across intermittently in between. Bring a carrier or tush baby. It's so nice to have the kids at eye level, especially when characters are coming around. I didn't bring the tush baby on this trip and I really regretted that because I held our toddler the entire time. I totally wish I had brought it. The parade can last about 20 to 30 minutes, just given the timing of everything, so do expect to be there for a good chunk of time. But all in all, I love the parade. My daughter had a blast. My son's not quite into the parade yet, but I love me a good Boo to You parade. All right, the next thing on your planning list is going to be the Hocus Pocus Villain Spectacular, the Castle Show. So show times are gonna vary whether you're going on August, September, or they're gonna change up in October, adding one more extra time starting at 7:40. Otherwise, they'll be held at 8:35, 10:45, and midnight. Again, those earlier castle shows are going to be a little bit more popular. So if you can hold off, then that's awesome for viewing and not having to be stuck in a ton of crowds. But do know it, if it's rainy, they might end up canceling the castle show or giving you a much modified version. The castle show is going to star the Disney version Sanderson sisters, and it's a super cute storyline if you really enjoy viewing that live show. The only place to really see this is in front of the castle and that major hub area. If you're too far back, it's honestly just a little bit harder to see. We're not big castle show people, so if you're not directly in front of that hub area, it's a little bit difficult to see, especially if you have little ones. You definitely have to prop your kid up out of the stroller off the ground and put them up on your hip to see without putting them on your shoulders, because that is a big no-no. For this year, we skipped it, but it is a good show if you really enjoy watching those live performances. All right, next up is going to be those character meet and greets. During the Halloween party, you're gonna see some characters that are not typically in the parks come out and join for the Halloween fun. You're gonna have popular characters like Jack and Sally. They're gonna be located at the front of the park in the Town Square Theater. You can get in line early for this, so if they're a character that you wanna see, then I would definitely suggest doing that. They are one of the more popular characters, so do know it's gonna be a good amount of line. Heading over into Adventureland, you can see Aladdin and Abu, and they'll be swapping in and out with Jasmine and the Genie. Near the magic carpets, you can see Jafar, and then Captain Jack Sparrow will be near Pirates of the Caribbean. Heading over towards Frontierland, you're gonna see the Country Bears. They'll be roaming around. Fantasyland has a ton of characters. You're gonna see Anastasia and Gisela. They'll be roaming around as well. The Seven Dwarfs are gonna be over at Pete's Silly Sideshow. And then over in the Dumbo queue is gonna be Donald, Daisy, and Minnie. Goofy will be right outside the Barnstormer. Elena, Tiana, Rapunzel, and Cinderella will all be at their normal spots. Belle will be over at Enchanted Tales with Belle. And Ariel and Eric will be across from her grotto. Heading over towards the carousel, you'll see Pooh, Tigger, Eeyore, and Piglet. Pooh and friends were about a 50-minute wait after the fireworks. Making your way back out of Fantasyland, you're gonna see Alice and the Mad Hatter, the Queen of Hearts, switching out with Tweedledee and Tweedledum. We were first in line to meet the Queen. She came out a little bit late though. Tweedledee and Tweedledum were only about a 10-minute wait after the fireworks. Tomorrowland is going to have Elvis Stitch. You'll also see characters over in front of Haunted Mansion, and you'll see some pirates roaming over by Pirates of the Caribbean. You can get in line for characters as soon as you enter the party, but with kids, I wouldn't do that because that's going to be waiting a very long time. Some of the more popular party characters are going to be Sally, Jack, Elvis Stitch, and the Seven Dwarfs. And then keep in mind, if the characters are located indoors, you are going to need to park your stroller as you normally would. So if you're going to meet characters later in the night, you need to make sure that your kids are either awake, because if they're sleeping, you're gonna have to park the stroller and carry them in. And if it's hot for us, it's definitely hot for the characters. So they will be switching out every so often. So if you see a lull in the line, that's probably why. And as usual, if you're going to meet characters, just prep your kids before you go. You never know if they're gonna be scared of them. Maybe they're not sure how to approach them. So I usually just talk through my kiddos like, oh, we're gonna meet this character. You know, you can give them a high five or this or that. Do you wanna ask them something? Just so that way when you get to the character meet and greet, it's not like they freeze. So giving them that like heads up advance of what we can do, what we can expect, it just really helps the flow with the character meet and greet. We get our pictures and we're on our way. There will be a PhotoPass photographer there. Once they take your pictures, you can scan your Magic Band or your card, and then you can view your pictures later. And then you can also ask an attendant to take a photo with your camera or phone. If you have an autograph book, make sure you have it out, open to the page, ready to be signed. As far as characters, I would pick 1 or 2 characters that you would like to meet for the night. So we did pick Tweedledee and Tweedledum as our top character, and the Queen actually ended up coming out first, and we weren't going to jump back in line during that time to go wait to hopefully meet Tweedledee and Tweedledum. So if the character's switching out, it's not really, you know, up to you on who you get to meet. It's just kind of the luck of the draw. But when we did go back later, there was a really short wait time, and so we got to meet 2 characters. You're not going to be able to meet all of the characters on one night. There's just honestly, with the waits, not enough time to do that. All right, let's talk about the party exclusive menu items. So Halloween food items have hit the parks, but there are exclusive items that are only available during Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party. So while there are lots of different food options, we got to try 10 different items and enjoyed most of them. Some of these items will sell out, and there was one that I was really looking forward to that did sell out that night. Make sure you make a list beforehand of what you want to try, and know that they don't start selling food items usually until right at 7 p.m. There are 3 of the 10 food items that I really enjoyed, and I definitely wouldn't skip those if I went again. Starting in Tomorrowland, Anti-Gravity's Galactic Goodies has an apple fritter milkshake. Cosmic Rays has the Terrified Twice Spiced Chicken Sandwich, a Snarling Sub, Zombie Fingers, and River Styx Elixir. Just near there is the Cheshire Cafe with a Mummy Tree Queen of Hearts slushie and Witch's Cold Brew. Friar's Nook has the Pain and Panic Brat, Pain and Panic Loaded Tots, and the Buffalo Chicken Ham Pie. The Golden Oak Outpost has the Tombstone Tart and Loaded Sweet Potato Fries. Liberty Square Market has the Black Whoopie Pie. Pecos Bills has the Cajun Burger, Bucket of Bones, and Candy Corn Milkshake. Near Haunted Mansion is the Skull Brownie. Sunshine Tree Terrace has the Tropical Graveyard. Sleepy Hollow has chicken wings, Headless Horseman Cupcake, and Cinnamon Funnel Cake. Plaza Ice Cream Parlor has Apple Fritter Sundae and Ice Cream Cookie Sandwich. Storybook Treats has the Hades Cone. The Castle Churro Cart has the Not So Poison Apple Churro, a Jack Pop, and a Sally Pop. Main Street Bakery has the Mickey Shape Cinnamon Roll and the Mini Shape Pumpkin Cheesecake. There's honestly so many good options to try, and my list was much longer, but realistically, I knew I wasn't going to be able to get every single food item that I wanted. The Cosmic Ray's twice spiced chicken, I thought it was okay. I wasn't able to get like a full bite of the jalapeno popper and the chicken all at once, but the chicken was pretty decent. The zombie fingers, if you're a key lime pie lover, then you're gonna like these. It was way too tart for us, but if you like the key lime pie, you're gonna like these. And the River Styx Elixir was just like a fruity drink that was more so fun just for the kids. Friar's Nook with the buffalo hand pie, that was steaming hot and delicious. I thoroughly enjoyed that one. And the Pain and Panic Loaded Tots was one of my husband's favorite. I thought that it was okay, but my husband really liked that. We stopped at Pecos Bill's just before the parade and got that Cajun burger, and oh my goodness, that andouille dip that is on top of it was so delicious. I would 100% get that again. That is one of my top 3 favorite items that I got that night. It is a little spicy, definitely too spicy for the kids, so they weren't able to eat that, but it was just enough spice for me. I loved it. The candy corn milkshake was also a huge hit with all of us. My kids ended up taking most of it as expected, but I really liked the texture and also the taste of it. Wasn't too sweet, but too bland. It was perfect. Loved it. If you're looking for some more spice, the Hades cone over at Storybook Treats was so good. I loved like that hint of spice that was in it, but it was still that fruity. I was totally enjoying it, and that is another one of my top 3 items that I would 100% be getting again. Over at the Main Street Bakery, we got mini shaped pumpkin cheesecake, and it was so delicious. Had just like a hint of pumpkin. The texture was perfect, and I really enjoyed that one. Rounding out my top 3 favorite is gonna be that Mickey shaped cinnamon roll. Oh my goodness, it was so delicious. It was huge, warm, gooey. It was so perfect. I like a little crispier on the outside with a bit of gooiness, doughy on the inside, and that was cooked perfectly. It tasted delicious. We even saved some in a little baggie to have the next morning. And I 100% recommend getting the cinnamon roll. If you are a cinnamon roll person, you will love this. Another popular thing is to actually skip doing any food at all and eat before you come to the party, bringing some snacks in with you, so that way you can really maximize your time by either doing attractions, character meet and greets, or other things instead of waiting in line to order food. None of the food lines were more than 10 minutes long, so really it wasn't too much, and the only downside was the chicken wings being sold out at Pecos Bill's. The next thing on your priority list is going to be the entertainment and dance parties that you can find throughout the party. Over in Adventureland, you're gonna find Rusty Cutlass, which is a pirate band. They're super fun to just watch on stage, and you can just hop through and dance as you're walking through the area. Their show times are gonna be a little sporadic between 7:15 and 11:50. And then you'll also see pirates roaming in that area as well. In Frontierland, you'll be able to catch the Cat Ever Dance playing over at the Country Bear Jamboree balcony, and those have show times intermittently throughout the night as well. Over in Tomorrowland, you can catch the Zombies Bash at the Rocket Tower Plaza stage. This is a new location for this, and dance parties happen between 7 to midnight. It's basically like a DJ going, and characters, dancers come out, and it's a pretty fun thing to walk on through as well. The Disney Junior Jam is now over in the Cosmic Rays Starlight Cafe, and there's plenty of seating over there. The kiddos can get up and dance with Disney Junior characters, and that's a fun thing to pop in and out of. Powerline Max is also popping up around the park, mostly in Tomorrowland, with showtimes being intermittently throughout the night. We have really enjoyed doing the dance parties, and it's fun to just kind of walk through them as you're walking through the area. So knowing where they're located beforehand is a good thing, or even if you just stumble upon it, just take a moment and like dance for like 5 minutes, and I think that it's super fun. I really think that they should have a Bluey dance party, because that would be like perfectly on theme, and I know my kids would go crazy for it, as well as a lot of other younger kids, but that's just my suggestion. So I wouldn't plan on going to these, just knowing that they're there, they're an option, and as you're walking through the area, maybe stumbling upon them, then hopping in, dancing, and enjoying the time for like 5 to 10 minutes, and then being on your way. You'll definitely see characters and get to dance, but it's not really a post photo op time or autograph time. It's more of a dance relaxed environment. So you can see characters, but I definitely wouldn't spend all night there. All right, next up on your priority list is going to be the rides and attractions that are only available with special overlays during the Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party. So Space Mountain has the special overlay of all of the lights being off, which is like just a totally different feeling than having the stars going. But do you know that this does have a 44-inch height requirement? So if you have younger ones, this is one that our family actually skips for this night. The one that we are not skipping is the Mad Tea Party. They have awesome lights going. It's kind of like a DJ fun atmosphere, and there's really never an extremely long wait here. Pirates of the Caribbean is also said to have an overlay of having live pirates on there. When we went on, there was actually no pirates. They were outside roaming around. And then Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor also has a Halloween overlay. Of course, these aren't all of the attractions that are available during the party. There are going to be many other attractions that'll be running all the way up until midnight. Not all rides are guaranteed to be open, but you do have the option to go on many other attractions with often a fewer wait time than you would typically see during a non-party day. We made use of the early entry of the 4 p.m. time so that way we can get on rides that we wanted to. Party days at Magic Kingdom typically have lower wait times anyways, so using that early entry at 4 p.m. really helps minimize the amount of time that we're waiting in line without having to use Genie Plus. If you're entering in at 4 p.m., I would definitely use that 4 p.m. to 6 o'clock hour to go and get on some rides that don't have the overlays, but you would still want to ride on. Do note that the attraction overlays don't start until 7 p.m. when the party officially starts. All right, trick-or-treating. So trick-or-treating is available all throughout Magic Kingdom. There's gonna be different candy stations throughout every different land. They're going to be marked with orange blow-ups. You'll be able to definitely see them from a while away. And some of the stops have 2 candy locations. If you're entering the park, you're going to be receiving your little candy bag, and they'll have your first candy stop for the night. After that, I definitely suggest going later in the night to the candy stations. A lot of people jump in line first thing in the night. Then you're carrying around a heavy candy bag and the lines are longer at that time. I found that the cast members usually start giving out shovels, literally shovels full of candy towards the end of the night. So we were able to go trick-or-treating to 3 spots at the end of the night, and we got our bags about 3/4 of the way full with standing in very minimal to no lines. If you have a food allergy, you can also ask for the teal coins, so you can do that teal pumpkin experience going up to guest relations, and they will switch you out those teal coins for allergy-friendly options. But honestly, you don't even need to collect those teal coins if you find at the end of the night that you forgot or only got a few. You could still go up to guest relations and just tell them that you need an allergy-friendly bucket. So that's gonna round out what we're gonna prioritize during the party. Those are the main party elements that are really only exclusive to the Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party. Let's jump into Genie Plus and DAS rules. So during the party, you are not able to use or book a lightning lane, and you are not able to do any DAS selections. You can, however, use Genie Plus for lightning lanes and a DAS selection once you enter the park up until that 6 p.m. hour. So if you're choosing to enter the park at 4 p.m. and you purchase the multiple park Genie Plus for the day, which is sometimes only $2 or $3 more than the park that you are normally going to choose, then you can stack a few lightning lanes for entering the park between that 4 p.m. and 6 p.m. hour and knock out a few rides during that time. I definitely think that can be a good use of your time if you're already purchasing Genie Plus for the day if you're going to a different park. Okay, so quick recap of our night so you can get a realistic expectation of what it's gonna look like going to Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party with 2 adults, 2 kids, and then 2 grandparents that were also with us. This is going in August when it is hot. We stayed from 4 p.m. all the way up until midnight with the kiddos. So you can use this as a starting point to lay out your strategy and then just tweak it to what your wants are. So before you even get to the party, you're gonna need to decide what are you doing earlier in that day. We had decided to rope drop a different park and we only stayed until about noon. We went back to our resort and made sure the kids got a really good nap in. We got to shower, refresh, get our costumes on, and then we were going to the bus. So definitely decide what you're doing earlier in the day. I wouldn't try to do anything strenuous like specifically park hopping because you're just gonna be really exhausted and you want a ton of energy when you're going to the Halloween party. So when we were ready to go, we were on the bus from Art of Animation at 3:05 p.m. We got to security and then finally the gate to wait at 3:25. The security lines can get very, very long during this time because there are many guests arriving, waiting at those gates, getting ready to be let in right at 4 when the party opens. A lot of people usually gather towards the center of the lines, but usually when you look towards the outside, there's going to be much shorter lines. So many people were going all the way to the left, but I actually looked right in front of us and there was only 4 people in line, whereas right next to the line next to them, there was about 30 people in line. So I walked up, confirmed that that was a line, and it was. So look for the check-ins that don't have a cover on them, and sometimes they also open up extra lines as well. We were let in right at 3:55, and as you enter, they're going to put on one of the fabric wristbands to designate that you have a paid party ticket. After that, you're gonna enter underneath the railroad. Don't forget to grab a map as you're going in. Everything's located in my Disney experience, but I also just like having the hard map, and my kids really enjoy looking at the map as well. On the way in, we caught the end of the castle show, and right after that, we took pictures right in front of the castle because there were very few people around. We went to do Big Thunder Mountain using the rider swap DAS selection, but it actually ended up breaking down, so we decided to go cool off over in Pecos Bills, grab some ice water over at their quick service station. They had tons of cups out, which was so helpful. We refilled our water bottles. We did a bathroom break and then headed over to Sleepy Hollow to grab a funnel cake. And this was all around 5 p.m. And then we headed over to the carousel and we needed to do another little bathroom break. And this is around 5:20. After that, we got to the teacups. Of course, we had to do some photos because we were in our Alice costumes. And this is putting us around 5:35. After that, my husband, son, and grandparents went and did Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, while my daughter and I went and cooled off in Cosmic Rays over at the Starlight Cafe stage, had some snacks that I brought in, and then we went and rode teacups again. After that, we had a little potty break, so we got in line to meet the Queen of Hearts over by the teacups. Of course, she was running fashionably late, but she was out there by 7:10 p.m. We then went over to Cosmic Rays, got in line, got our food, and we were sitting down to eat by 7:30 p.m. The longest wait was from the cash register to actually getting our food. It was about like a 10 to 15 minute wait. We got to do the Disney Junior Dance Party in the same area, and then we headed over towards Adventureland, grabbing some egg rolls along the way around 7:50. We're on Pirates of the Caribbean by 8:15, and then we went and did a bathroom break, diaper change, and then went to go order food from Pecos Bills, and this puts us at around 8:25 p.m. While my husband was ordering food at Pecos, we went and secured our parade spot right into the Frontierland area across from Pecos Bills, because right after we sat down, a lot of people started actually pouring in around the area. So we ate all of our food out at our parade spot. They took the trays back and we were ready for the parade. The Headless Horseman rode right on time at 9:10 p.m. The parade started right on time at 9:15, and the parade lasted all the way up until about 9:35. By this time, my kiddos were both tired and we put them in the stroller. They ended up passing out as we were walking to our next spot. From there, the grandparents decided to call it a night. We kept the kiddos with us. They were both sleeping in the stroller. We made our way over towards Fantasyland to watch the fireworks. Do note that if you're trying to get to the back of Fantasyland, you're not going to be able to take either side of the castle right before the fireworks. You're going to have to either walk around over by Haunted Mansion and the Rapunzel bathrooms, or over towards the teacups. They close off that immediate area right by the castle in preparation of the fireworks. We went and sat down a little bit behind the carousel. My husband went over to Friar's Nook, got us some more treats to try, and the fireworks started right at 10:15 p.m. I honestly love this fireworks location. It was so nice to be just surrounded by the fireworks coming from both directions. If you're not looking to see those castle projections during the fireworks, which they sometimes can be super cool, especially the skull bones that they have, but if you're fine with just seeing the fireworks and being in the middle of all the action, this spot is great, especially because there's pretty much no crowd over here. The kids both slept right through the fireworks, even though we were right in the middle of it all. They stayed sound asleep, and this is not the first time that they've done this. Right after fireworks, we went and hit our first candy stops for the night. We headed over toward Pinocchio's, and then we went into Mickey's Fill Our Magic, which has 2 candy stops. On our way towards Tomorrowland, we stopped at the Storybook Treats to get the Hades cone. So worth it. There was pretty much no line for here, and that cone is so delicious. Definitely worth getting if you like kind of the mango with the tahini on it. Oh my gosh, So good. On our way back, since we wanted to meet Tweedledee and Tweedledum, we stopped by and saw that their line was really short and they were still out. We got in line and confirmed with the character attendant that we would hopefully be able to meet Tweedledee and Tweedledum before they go in, and she was able to get us to be the last person to meet them before heading in. Both kids were asleep, but honestly it turned out to be such a cute experience, and the characters were just so silly because both kiddos were asleep, and it made for such an adorable picture. Like, if this doesn't scream Disney at the end of the day tired, I don't know what does. So this put us closer to 11 p.m. and then we stopped right outside of Cosmic Rays at the Tomorrowland candy station. After that, we headed all the way up towards Main Street Bakery, just kind of casually walking up there, getting there around 11:15. We headed in, ordered some food. Oh my gosh, that cinnamon roll again. Seriously, if you're a cinnamon roll person, that should be on the top of your list. So good. We ended up watching the parade from the inside, which honestly felt so luxurious because we were right up at the window. We had a table enjoying our cinnamon roll, and we were able to watch the second parade from the comfort of nice, cool air conditioning. At this time, my daughter started to wake up, so she joined us with some cinnamon roll, and then she was up pretty much the rest of the time until we got back. My son, however, was still passed out. After that, we strolled over through Main Street, met up with some friends, and then waited for it to clear out while booking a minivan. I got some more pictures in, and then we were able to call it a night, walking out right around midnight. We were towards the end of the crowd, and we were in our minivan heading back to Art of Animation by 12:25 a.m. Alright, so using all of this information, how are you going to build your strategy when you attend Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party with your kids? So first, I would decide on fireworks. Are you gonna watch the fireworks? And if so, what is your viewing location gonna be? After that, decide on the parade. If you're gonna watch it, if so, what time, and again, what location you wanna be at. My favorite spot is that Frontier area, but other popular spots is in front of the castle, Main Street, and then at the Town Square area. From there, pick your characters. I would choose one or two that you want to meet and note down their location. Choose the attractions you want to do, if any, again, noting down their location in the park. Having that list, you're going to want to map out where it makes sense to go first depending on what time you're getting there. Build your night around whether or not you're going to watch the fireworks, parade, and castle show. Those have specific run times, so you can't really adjust when you're going to do those. So have that be the foundation of your night. The attractions and the characters can be done throughout the night, but definitely have your top one or two already chosen. Also, if you're really big on popcorn buckets or party exclusive merchandise, you're gonna need to factor that in as well. When you're laying out your night, you don't want to be crisscrossing the park, so make sure to chunk things together by land. You'll want to know that during the parade, castle show, and even fireworks, it's really hard to jump across Main Street and the Castle Hub area, so be aware of that if you plan on skipping any of those and trying to get other things done. So you were pretty much able to see that I chunked things in Tomorrowland together in one section, things in Adventureland and Frontierland all at one time, so that way we weren't hopping around back and forth a lot. We did more of like a big circle, and that was our night. So some tips with kids when heading to Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party. Just like any other park day strategy, you're going to want to factor in bathroom breaks, diaper changes, and water stops. These are all essential needs that you'll need to consider because they do still take time. Another thing that takes time that a lot of people, especially if they're not going with kids, don't factor in: stroller parking. Often you're going to have to go park your stroller somewhere, or even just getting from point A to point B with a stroller can be a little bit difficult because it takes up much more room and people often just walk in front of you. So factor in a little bit extra time for the stroller. You do want to bring water bottles. We like to bring our reusable water bottles, and definitely bring the fans. Especially if you're wearing a costume, you're likely to get a little bit warmer than just wearing normal clothes, so bring in those essential things to keep you nice, cool, and comfortable. Don't forget bringing your own snacks, especially if you're not planning to snack a lot during the party. Having your own snacks, because you know those kids are gonna get hungry no matter how much you fed them before you entered the party. What you don't need to bring is your own treat bag. They're gonna give you candy treat bags as you enter, and honestly, that is plenty of candy. It's fun doing the trick-or-treating, but I don't feel like I need to go home with a huge bag of candy. I like to focus more on the things that are party exclusive, whereas candy, I can go to Target and pick up 2 bags of candy for like 10 bucks. And if it's hot when you're going, or possibly raining, you're going to want to balance your activities outside with AC indoors. So going to a place like Pecos Bills where they have plenty of seating, you can get off your feet and in the AC, get some ice water and use the restroom all in one spot is a huge win. PhilharMagic in Fantasyland also is open, even though it's a trick-or-treating spot, so you could just go in there and hang out a bit. Again, get off your feet and in some AC to cool down a bit throughout the night. Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor over in Tomorrowland is another great place to go, sit down, get out of the heat, and cool off before you go back out for more activities. One of the things that I do, no matter if it's a Halloween party or we're going for a park day, I prep the kids and let them know what to expect throughout the day and what we're going to be doing, so that way they have somewhat of an idea of what to expect. And I'll tell them, all right, next we're gonna go over on the Pirates ride, and then after that we get to watch the parade, just so they have an idea of what's coming in like the near future, and it really helps us cut down on meltdowns. Make sure to give yourself and your kids some extra grace, especially if it's hot and crowded. Don't overplan and spread yourself too thin. Make sure you pick a few things as your top options in case your plan A doesn't work or you find that you have some extra time on your hands. Being able to pivot quickly and knowing what is offered where is going to help prevent you from having to sit or just kind of have a lull in your night because you're trying to figure out your next step. So being able to pivot quickly just in case that you need a backup or whatnot is going to help you feel really prepared. The fact that you're researching right now on how to best use your time at Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party, you're already many more steps ahead than others visiting the party. Definitely download the My Disney Experience app so that way you can at least have a map of the park along with the tangible map that you're going to be getting at the front of the park. So having that to even just look up restrooms is really helpful. So at the end of the day, Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party to me is definitely 100% worth it, especially with going with kids. I really enjoyed it. It's just such a different theming that Disney brings during that kind of fall Halloween time. I think it's my favorite party that Disney throws on at Magic Kingdom. Christmas is great and all, but the Halloween party is one that I do not want to miss. And my most favorite part of the Halloween party is the parade. I completely love every single part and aspect of the parade. It is completely my favorite. The food on top of that and being able to meet exclusive characters is also another great perk. So I hope this video was helpful in helping you either decide whether or not to go to Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party with kids or just planning and having a strategy with it. If you have any other questions on Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party, please leave them in the comments below. I will 100% love to answer them because I want to help you have the best time at Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party if you're taking your kiddos. Make sure to head over to Instagram where I shared a ton of my stories and saved it to a highlight from that party day. You can find me at Bibbidi Bobbidi Bestie. If you want more on doing Disney with kids, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification button. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye, besties.